Weaponized Stoicism. How ancient philosophy beats modern manipulation. They're trying to break you. Every notification, every headline, every carefully crafted advertisement. Modern psychological warfare doesn't use bullets, it targets your mind. But what these manipulators don't know is that the ancient Stoics already built the ultimate defense system. A philosophical fortress that makes you untouchable. The game has changed. But human nature hasn't. 2,000 years ago, Roman philosopher Seneca wrote about the exact same psychological tactics that social media algorithms use today. The same emotional triggers, the same exploitation of human weakness. Here's what the manipulators don't want you to know. Your emotions are a weapon. Either you wield them or someone else will. Modern influencers study psychology to exploit you. Ancient Stoics studied it to become invincible. Choose your teachers wisely. Let's decode their playbook. 1. Fear-based manipulation. 2. Social validation addiction. 3. Artificial scarcity. 4. Emotional contagion. 5. Identity exploitation. Each of these modern weapons has an ancient antidote. Epictetus was a slave who became more powerful than emperors. His secret: people are disturbed not by things, but by their judgments about things. Master this principle, and you'll be immune to 90% of modern manipulation tactics. They can't trigger what you don't let them touch. The most dangerous prison is the one you can't see. Your notifications are bars. Your social media feeds are chains. Your reactive emotions are the guards. But here's what Marcus Aurelius knew. The door was never locked, you just never tried to leave. The Stoic arsenal: 1. Negative visualization. 2. Dichotomy of control. 3. Self-interrogation. 4. Emotional distance. 5. Voluntary discomfort. Modern comfort is a trap. Your ancestors survived wars, famines, and plagues. You get anxious when your phone dies. Start practicing voluntary hardship. Cold showers, fasting, silence. Build your psychological armor before you need it. Remember, Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about being unconquerable. Your mind is a fortress. Your principles are the walls. Your discipline is the guard. Let them try their manipulation. Watch them break against your philosophical defenses. The final protocol. 1. Morning psychological fortification. 2. Tactical emotional distance. 3. Strategic discomfort integration. 4. Evening self-analysis. 5. Continuous philosophical reinforcement. Your adversaries have psychological weapons. But you have something better: ancient wisdom tested by centuries of human conflict. Every empire that tried to control minds eventually fell. Every manipulation technique eventually failed, but Stoicism survived. Because it's not just philosophy, it's psychological armor forged in humanity's hardest battles. Use it wisely. Mental strength can become mental prison. Today, we explore the dangerous signs that your resilience has transformed into a trap. Your ability to endure pain has become superhuman. You barely flinch when others would break, but this isn't strength, it's self-imposed torture. When you normalize suffering, you lose the ability to recognize when you need to change course. Your resilience becomes a wall that keeps healing out. And behind that wall, the damage accumulates silently, until one day the foundation crumbles completely. The ancient Stoics warned us about this paradox. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of endurance, but he also emphasized wisdom in choosing our battles. There's a fine line between being unbreakable and being unable to bend. Let's explore the first dangerous sign: emotional numbness masquerading as control. You've mastered your emotions so completely that you barely feel them anymore. People praise your composure, your ability to stay calm in chaos. But beneath that polished surface, something vital is dying. The same mechanism that blocks out pain also blocks out joy, love, and the full spectrum of human experience. You pride yourself on never needing anyone. Your independence is absolute, but here's the dark truth: this isn't strength. It's fear wearing armor. By refusing to depend on others, you've become dependent on your isolation. And in that fortress of self-reliance, you're slowly suffocating. The human mind wasn't designed to carry life's burden alone. The second sign manifests in your relationship with failure. You've become so resistant to setbacks that you no longer learn from them. Each failure bounces off your hardened exterior, leaving no mark, teaching no lesson. You're like a sword that's been forged too many times, unbreakable, but brittle. Third, your empathy is deteriorating. You've grown so accustomed to pushing through your own pain that you've lost patience with others' struggles. Their problems seem trivial, their complaints weak. This emotional distance isn't wisdom, it's a form of spiritual corruption. The fourth sign is perhaps the most insidious. You've developed an addiction to hardship. Easy paths make you suspicious. You deliberately choose the more difficult route, not because it's better, but because you've equated suffering with growth. This is the dark side of the Stoic practice of voluntary discomfort. Fifth, you've lost the ability to ask for help. Not because you don't need it, but because you've convinced yourself that needing help is a form of weakness. This is where resilience becomes pride, and pride becomes poison. The solution isn't to become weak, it's to redefine strength. True mental strength is knowing when to be soft. It's understanding that flexibility is not weakness, and that vulnerability, properly expressed, is a form of power. The strongest trees are not those that never bend, they're the ones that know how to sway in the storm. Here are the corrective measures. 1. Deliberately practice vulnerability with those you trust. 2. Reintroduce pleasure without guilt. 3. Learn to distinguish between necessary and unnecessary suffering. 4. Actively seek feedback about your emotional availability. 5. Practice receiving help even when you don't desperately need it. Remember, the goal of Stoicism isn't to become invulnerable, it's to become wise. And wisdom often means acknowledging our human limitations, not transcending them. Your resilience is a tool, not your identity. Like any tool, it should be used when needed and set aside when not. The truly strong know when to be weak, when to bend, when to rest. This is the paradox of mental strength. The moment you become too strong to be human is the moment you become too weak to grow. Mental strength can become a prison, a cage of your own making. Today, we explore the dark corners of resilience where virtue becomes vice. Your emotional walls aren't protection, they're a tomb. Being mentally strong feels like power, until you realize you've buried your humanity along with your weaknesses. You've mastered control, but at what cost? When was the last time you truly felt anything? The Stoics taught strength, yes, but they never meant for us to become stone. There's a threshold where mental fortitude crosses into dangerous territory. The signs are subtle at first. You pride yourself on never needing anyone. on handling everything alone. The world throws chaos at you, and you don't just survive, you remain unmoved. Like a mountain facing a storm, but mountains don't feel, mountains don't grow. Mountains don't love. The first warning sign appears in your relationships. You view emotional needs as weakness. When others share their struggles, you feel a hint of contempt. Why can't they just deal with it, you think? Your advice becomes cold, mechanical. Fix the problem, move on. No room for processing feelings. The second sign manifests in your response to loss. When others grieve, you analyze. When tragedy strikes, you immediately search for lessons, for meaning. You've forgotten that some pain demands to be felt. Some wounds need to heal before they can teach. You've become too good at suppressing pain, at burying trauma, at moving forward. But suppressed emotions don't disappear, they mutate. They become shadows in your psyche, growing larger in the dark. Your strength isn't processing pain, it's postponing it. And one day that debt will come due. The third sign is the most insidious. You start to lose your capacity for joy. Real joy, not achievement, not satisfaction, but pure, uncontrolled delight. Because joy requires vulnerability. It demands that we lower our shields, that we risk being hurt. But you've forgotten how to lower those shields. They've rusted in place. The fourth sign appears in your self-talk. You've internalized a militant philosophy. Weakness becomes unforgivable. Rest becomes laziness. You drive yourself with the same cold efficiency you apply to everything else. Your inner voice becomes a drill sergeant, never satisfied, never gentle. The fifth sign manifests in your worldview. You begin to see sensitivity in others as a flaw to be corrected. Empathy becomes inefficient, emotions become obstacles. You start to view the human experience through a lens of pure logic and strategy. The rich tapestry of life fades to grayscale. Here's the paradox. True strength includes the capacity for softness. The mighty oak survives storms not by being rigid, but by knowing when to bend. The greatest warriors in history understood that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the wisdom to honor it while acting anyway. The solution isn't to dismantle your strength, it's to redefine it. To understand that processing emotions isn't weakness, it's advanced strength. That needing others isn't dependency, it's human wisdom. That vulnerability isn't a flaw in your armor, it's a vital release valve. The Stoics themselves understood this balance. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about love, about forgiveness, about the beauty of human connection. Seneca spoke of friendship as essential to the good life. They sought strength not as an end in itself, but as a foundation for living fully. Remember, the goal isn't to become invulnerable. The goal is to remain whole. To maintain your humanity while developing your resilience. To be strong enough to be soft when softness is called for. Examine your strength. If you recognize these signs, it's time to rebuild. Not to become weak, but to become complete. The greatest power isn't in never breaking, it's in knowing how to put yourself back together. And sometimes, in allowing others to help with the pieces. This is the true path of the warrior philosopher. Not to transcend humanity, but to embrace it fully with all its messy contradictions. To be both fortress and garden, both sword and healing hand. Your strength should serve your humanity, not replace it.